do you mind, starting off everything just before we shoot the shit and talk about whatever, introducing yourself a little bit?
Sure. My name's Darcy Rose Byrnes. First name Darcy Rose. I am a actress and singer-songwriter and voiceover actor, and different little hobbies and things that I like to do. You may know me as the speaking and singing voice of Princess Amber on Sofia the First, or as Harper in Big Shot, which I also wrote 5 songs for the show, including Everything to Me and the Beth Macbeth musical. Fairly foul musical comedian. That's cool. Going to be doing Crissy in Hair coming in spring. And I have a parrot that swears at me and critiques my songwriting.
Oh. Like literally?
Yes.
A parrot?
Yes.
Like a bird?
Like a bird, yes. He's a yellow-naped Amazon. His name is Mr. Greenbird. And he grew up in Boston, New York, Jersey, Queens, to be specific, and Cambridge. So he has
Does he have an accent?
He has like a bird accent, I think. I don't know if you can...
But he doesn't have like a Boston accent or anything?
I don't think
he doesn't,
so.
Like say like coffee
No,
or
coffee.
anything like that?
Yeah.
I don't know if he can say coffee.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he necessarily has it. At least not that I can pick it up. He mumbles a lot, which is very good when there's a youngin' around and he starts swearing at them. And I'm like, oh, it's okay, little 5-year-old. He's talking about he likes your unicorn backpack. It's fine. It's fine.
That's great.
Yeah, but he critiques my songwriting. He really likes music. So if he doesn't like what I'm writing, he just doesn't sing along.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, so does he actually, do birds have ears?
Yes. They do have ears.
Okay. Birds have ears.
Not like
Where do they
human
have
ears.
it? Do they have it?
This like right on the side of their head. There's like, you can't really see it under the feathers, but like if you're, petting them and then you make them yawn, I think you've probably hit their ear. That's at least my assumption. I don't actually know that to be true. I've just noticed that.
That is so weird. I can't believe I've never really I've been indulged in the fact that birds do have ears. It's so weird. It's like they obviously have ears.
Yeah.
Ears.
I think their hearing, I think, is actually their best sense, to my knowledge. I think that's the best. Oh. Yeah.
Whoa. So it's an impressive skill as well. Like if it's very small as well.
Yeah. The phrase bird brain is not exactly a truthful insult. They're very intelligent. Yeah. No, they're like, oh, you're such a bird brain. It's like, thank you.
But if you say oh, you're such a bird ear, then it's like hey, thanks, man.
Thanks, man. I'm working on it. I've been doing sight singing. No,
Hey, do you? So
no,
sorry.
You're good.
Go on.
No, he doesn't remember music. He does, but I don't mean he memorizes musical phrases and he goes, oh, that's when this comes in. There was one song that I had written, and I had written it in sheet music because it was a full orchestra. So there's just no way that I only have 2 hands. I can't do that on the piano. So I was playing it back through the computer to make sure that all the pieces lined up the way I had heard it in my head and wrote it down, and making sure I actually wrote it correctly, what I heard in my head. And I was playing it through the speakers, and he started singing, and there was 7 or 8 different counter melodies going because I'm weird. And he just started singing this new counter melody that I hadn't written, wasn't in the music. He just decided, it needs this here. And I filmed him. I was like, this is so funny. And I played it for my mom. And then he heard the lead in, and he did the same melody that he had written on the same part. Not he heard himself and he, parroted it back. He actually just was no, that's when this comes in now. I've decided. And it was this completely individual melody that he had created.
Dude, that is... What? I didn't know... Well, I've always known that, parrots are, they can be really smart birds. But damn. Yeah. Your parrot's got some skills. Yeah. It's got... Gotta do a duet with him.
I try, but whenever you have to hide the camera, because if he sees the camera, he's like, I'm not gonna do it. I know what you want from me.
Yeah, he's got some sass. Yeah. He's got some.
Yeah, he's
got a little bit of an attitude.
He always sings the phrase "way up high" all the time. So I wrote him a song called "Way Up High," and I used his melody. I go, way up high, I'm floating way up high, so high I think I might just fall in was like, there, Greenwood, I wrote you a song. You know the words. And every time I play it for him, he just stares at me. Like, haha.
Okay. I honestly just, like, forgot about your parrot. Like, sorry, but I forgot about your parrot, like, the moment you started singing because it's amazing.
Well, thank you. For once, he doesn't upstage me. I love it. Thank you.
Your voice is amazing, by the way. I was going to say it anyways, but it sounds like I'm compelled to say it again.
Thank you.
Once I've heard, like, now that I've just heard it live. It's amazing.
Thank you. Your voice is such a vibe. Everything you do is just kind of like,
I've seen like multiple videos of you singing like on stage, doing these like musical grandiose performances. I'm like, damn, I will never be able to sing that loud and that high. You have got to see me at karaoke's. There is no way. Like you're gonna hurt your ears when you go to a karaoke bar.
I will take that challenge.
It's different.
We'll do it.
We'll do it together someday, but you gotta brace yourself for it because it ain't pretty. Okay. It ain't vibey at all.
Okay. Isn't that a vibe in itself?
Have you been trained?
Yes.
Have you been trained, like, to sing?
Yeah. I started training when I was 3. I was doing Annie. I was Sandy, because in Annie Jr., the dog is played by a kid. So I was Sandy, and then also ensemble. And this is going to sound horrible, but this is actually the truth. My parents wanted me to start training because I was louder than the other kids, and they were afraid that I was going to hurt my voice. So we looked for, it doesn't sound good. It just sounds like a brag when I say it, but that's what happened. But so we, looked around, I was 3. They looked around and found like the one teacher who was willing to teach a 3-year-old, who was John Henney, shout out. Hey man. And I started training then, and I did theater all throughout. And I kind of think anytime you're singing, it's training. But as far as like the rigid actual taking classes, from 3 on, I was always taking classes. John Henney was Seth Riggs style, and Bob Garrett I went with as well, and Terry Weiss, who is also like one of my favorite people in the whole world, just in general, regardless of training. Like I love that human. Always training, everything training, any class I can get my hands on.
Do you have you gotten training in any other musical endeavors other than just singing then? Yeah,
I took piano and guitar. Nice. I think piano.
I've seen you play guitar, by the way, like on your comedy sketches, which I would love to talk about later on. But go on.
Yeah, I started on piano because I come from a very musical family, and my mom knew that you have to start on a piano. Or you don't have to, but it's easier to start on a piano, and guitar fairly quickly after that. And then when I was 12 or 13, and I do want to take a moment to acknowledge that the piano was the only thing my mother ever made me do. I absolutely hated piano. I did not want anything to do with piano.
I feel you.
Yeah.
100%.
I hated it. I wanted to be a guitarist. I want to be a rock star. I was like, no, piano, no thank you. And it took like 10 years for me to have my hands catch up with my head or my ears, my brain ears, what I heard inside my head, for my hands to be able to kind of actually do it. And then when that happened, I fell in love with it, and it was like fireworks. So after piano and guitar, my parents got me a ukulele when I was 13, I think. And it was actually very cute. The uke that my parents thought I would really like and wanted to get for me, there was only 2 being sold in the country that wasn't from the manufacturer, that was secondhand, which I think is cooler. And one of them was like a couple streets down from where my aunt lives. So my aunt, who's in Massachusetts, she went over and she went to the guy's house and took the uke into the bathroom and recorded it on the iPhone and sent it to my parents. Does this sound okay? And they're like, yes. And so she sent it off to California to me. So it was a nice little serendipity. But from then, I just kind of started hoarding instruments. Most of them self-taught, with the exception of flute and violin. I started teaching myself, and then I went to a teacher and had them teach me. And by self-taught, I do mean with the help of the internet. I use OAIM, which is the Online Academy of Irish Music, for harp, for flute, for bodhrán. I use those resources. So I'm not just sitting in my bedroom and noodling, although that's very useful, but not going to an in-person or Zoom class. I think that's my story of instruments. I think that probably covers it for now anyway.
Damn, that's already so like, I mean, that's it. You say that's it, but like, I'm like, what the hell? Like, you play the violin, you play the flute, you play ukulele, you can play the guitar, you can play the piano. Like, what the hell?
I would say my flute is much better than my violin is. Like, I probably know a couple of Irish fiddle songs, and then everything else is like, okay, can you practice in your room, please? Because we really don't want to hear this anymore. The flute I'm pretty good at.
But Irish violin songs are like, it sounds complicated as shit. It's like, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like the hardest piece to play, literally.
I don't know what's hard. Right now, the thing that's hard for me is the vibrato on the violin, because that's such like going from guitar to ukulele to mandolin, not that hard. It's just learn the new string, same with bass. It's just the bottom 4 or 5, since I have a 5-string bass. You know, you just kind of take what you know and transpose it onto the different instrument. But the violin has some different techniques that I'm not used to. So those things are the things that take me a while to get when it's like new. Like getting the slap bass, that's going to take me a little bit. I can do the walking, but the slapping, I can get a couple of slaps before it just sounds like I'm hitting my bass in anger. So that'll take me a second, but I'll get there.
Yeah, but I feel you on that, like, violin is a beast. The violin is a beast on its own. Like, I've played, like, I don't know if you can see, but got a cello right there.
Yes.
Over there. It's used as a bag hook, like a bag hanger.
I love cello.
But I've been classically trained.
Nice.
Like, that's the cello was my thing growing up, like being classically trained, and I wanted to be a cellist for a while when I was a kid. And before I tried the cello, my mom made me try out multiple instruments to like see what sticks. And I tried the violin, and I don't recall it, but apparently I despised it so much that like I wasn't a rebellious kid, but like the violin was the only thing that I would like literally cry and plead not to like learn. Yeah. Apparently I hated it so much.
Well, I feel like I owe it to my violin to learn, because it was my great aunt's violin. So I'm kind of like, I feel like I have to.
So it's got this kind of legacy.
Yeah. It's like, well, if I don't play, it's just going to be sitting on the wall, and that's just not fair. Yeah. I named my instruments.
It's a waste too. What? Might as well.
Might as well. Exactly. Cello is awesome.
And also, like, is it just... I mean, this is just a thought in hindsight, but if I could go back in time as a kid and got the choice to learn the violin as a kid, I would be like, I would still be no, but for a different reason. Like, I would love to. Like, I would actually... Having played the cello now, I want to... Like, violinists are the badass. Like, cellists are, like, more calm, like, chilled, kind of like, hey, I'm just vibing with this thing, hugging this little woody instrument. But, like, violinists are literally, like, exercising their asses off on stage. It's so cool. But it's not for that reason, but I would love to play the violin, but the only reason why I wouldn't play the violin as a kid is, like, I would be scared if, like, the chin part that gets attached to the violin would like change the shape of my face or something. Interesting. Like, cause like it's a bone structure thing, and bone structures like they're more malleable as a kid growing up.
Well, see, now I'm glad that I started flute when I was an adult.
Yeah. Well, flute, it doesn't like get literally like it doesn't.
No. But it could. I mean, I could see an opinion that it could maybe change the shape of your mouth. I think instruments like saxophone and clarinet are a little bit more extreme in that case. And I know there's a really cool instrument called a mouth harp. It's called mouth harp or Jewish harp, depending on who you're talking to and in what context it's being used. But I've heard of people like, and I wanted to get one. It's so cool. You just kind of like, you like hit the side of it and you hold it in your teeth. It's really cool. And then I heard about people that like did it for a living or did it very prolifically, were like removing their teeth because of the vibration or something. Like they would just remove it so they could keep playing. They're like, oh, this is bad for my mouth. Let me just take a couple teeth out. And I was like, all right, I think I'm going to pass on that one, but I'm going to listen to it because it's really cool. But you do you. Like,
oh, talk about an occupational hazard.
I know.
Damn, that's rough.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But I can see like saxophone,
Moving
anything where
teeth.
you're putting your teeth on the reeds. I can see that, you know, being a thing
Affecting
the
the
teeth,
structure
yeah.
of the mouth. Yeah, I see what you mean now. Well, I'm glad that you picked it up when you were, your bones were fully structured.
So do I. I hadn't thought of that until.
Good for you.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Good for me for not realizing that I loved the flute until later. Thank you, Jethro Tull.
Are you, by the way, are you in your, like, where are you
Where
right
am I?
now?
Yeah. I'm in my TARDIS. I call her Sexy. Her name is Hillary the Booth, after Remember When. But I call her my TARDIS and Sexy because she's my TARDIS. I'm in my whisper room. This is where I do my recording at home. We installed this at the beginning of the pandemic because we kind of see the writing on the wall as far as in-studio recording. So we set this up in the middle of the living room, and we no longer have any light. So...
What?
Yeah, well, it's like 5 by 5.
Where's this light coming from that's shining on you?
These are like lights that I've set up in the booth.
Oh,
so that
right,
you can
like
see
separate
me.
lights.
Yeah. Yeah. But like the whole concept of sunlight is not something that I'm very familiar with anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's
I
just
see.
like right in the middle of the living room. So, hey, who needs light? I got a booth.
I mean, hey, it's better than a closet.
That is very true. Yeah.
It's much better than a closet.
Especially when you have a singing parrot right there,
know.
right outside the booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is it's so epic. Like, I'd love to get that.
Thank you.
I'd love to get that.
Yes, I love it.
Or like, I like, because the room that I was in before moving into this current one was like this tiny ass box room thing where it was like, there was no echo because the room was so small. Like everything was so packed. But having moved into a little bigger room now, I realize the echoes are insane. It's just insane. I need to get myself like a mic
foam.
shield or something, like just something. Probably can't afford a mic booth, but
you can just put some foam
or a
and
fancy,
a blanket. I've seen people
nameable place like yours, but
I've seen people like upend couch cushions and then just sit inside it. Like literally like make a fort and then put a blanket over you and just go inside with the mic. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done the blanket one. Damn, it gets sweaty in there though during summer.
It gets sweaty in here too. If you see me shuffling under, I don't have AC. I mean, I do, but I can't turn it on when I'm recording. So if you see me shuffling underneath the camera frame, I might be taking my sweatpants off. But just ignore that. Just we don't need to talk about it.
Hey, it's okay. Hey, this is the thing about Zoom. This is like, you can do whatever. You can wear whatever the fuck you want underneath there. Like, you can not wear whatever the fuck you don't want to wear.
Just superimpose
That's the beauty.
clothing onto your
Yeah.
Zoom.
Yeah, like
thing.
you can be having a job interview and not be wearing your pants. Just wear your suit on top.
Yeah. I love when I do record from home and they're like, let's do it on Zoom so we can see you. And I'm like, great. Meanwhile, I was like really looking forward to just taking everything off so I'm not sweating my butt off in the movie.
Yeah. Wait, do you record naked though?
No.
Usually?
No, I don't because most of my sessions are on Zoom because, a lot of the projects.
Damn.
I know. One of these days.
Bummer.
I have too many cameras around me anyway that I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. I have like 6 mics and like right now 2 cameras, but usually 3 cameras in here. So at that point, it's just like, all right, there we go.
Clothes, here we go.
Here we go, clothes. I do have to put my hair up though when I record in the booth because it.
Oh, is it because does it like bristle? Like, does it make bristling
Not
sounds?
necessarily. No, my hair is very, very long. So if it's gonna be hot anyway, my hair is not gonna help.
Yeah, it's like a like a muffler, what is it?
Yeah,
whoa.
it's pretty.
Yeah, you can like wrap it around your, like, you can properly wrap it. Yeah. like Tangled.
There you go.
Damn. Whoa.
Yeah.
That is actually so epic. That is an epic look. I'm not even joking.
Should I leave it?
It's so nice.
I'll leave it until I get hot.
It looks so nice.
Perfect. I feel like I'm one of those 1950s, Hollywood stars, except hippie, because it's hair.
You literally look like you're wearing like a scarf over your head that drapes around your neck right now.
Perfect.
Nice one. That's a nice look.
But I am going to be hot, so I'm going to take that down.
Yeah. Dude, keep it cool. Yeah, keep it chill.
Yeah. I very often will be heard swearing, and because I've gotten my hair caught on a doorknob or sat on my hair. That's fun. That's a fun one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's not nice.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Also, like, guys won't get it unless they've got like a man bun or something. But like, even when even if they do have a man bun, like it wouldn't be as long enough to like for you to sit on it, or like, I don't know, for your dog to step on it or whatever. You know?
It decided to fly. I remember in the before times when you could go out to places. I was in a coffee shop and my hair, a guy walked by me and my hair just flew with him. Like it wanted to go with him. That was delightful.
Was it nice? Did you do something? Did that like turn into an encounter?
It did not.
Like a romantic encounter of a sort?
I mean, I think my hair, got to fifth base with his jacket. But other than that, no.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, that could definitely be a start of a rom-com movie.
Sort of a meet cute.
I can see that happening.
I have gotten my hair caught in someone's earrings before. That happened. I was doing hair. That's apropos. I was doing hair and I had a braid on the side of my face to like keep my hair out of my face, so that even though it was down, you could still see what was going on. And I had all these cute little flower clips from when I was like 3 that I still have. And I'm like, these are really cute. I'm going to use them. So I put them in the braid. And then I hugged this girl and I was like, thank you for coming. Hi, Jada. And we pulled apart and my braid was caught to her earring. So,
oh my God. What did you like? I hopefully it didn't rip off her
It did not rip anything off. We noticed. I mean, I don't think it had the amount of force to have done that, but we also noticed because we were like standing next to each other. So we released and it was like, oh, we're still attached. So, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's fun.
Do you have any plans to like cut it?
Not at this point. I mean, I'm doing hair in the spring. Anytime I even mention the idea of getting a trim or anything, someone in my team screams at me. So it seems to be the thing at the moment. And I'm cool. I like it. It's just also a lot of work. Like, I like braiding it and putting stuff in it and playing with it. It's fun. It's just when I have to actually do that stuff, like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I guess it's an actress kind of stuff, like just you gotta do it.
Yeah.
You can't cut it off.
Yeah.
It's part of the it's part of the production.
Yeah. I cut it when I'm told to by the head of hair at work. I was doing I was doing Big Shot and Raisa, she was like, "Can I cut your hair just so this is easier to actually work with? Can I just cut it? Just like a little trim, just because it's like, see what's happening here? It's all can I just cut it?" And I'm like, "Go for it." Because it had been like a year.
Oh, okay.
That was like the middle of...
So you're not one of those people who get like super emotional about like cutting hair off?
No. Not at all. No. And at that point too, it was probably a year since I had last gotten a trim because of the pandemic.
Whoa.
So she was like, I'll do it for you. Can you just come in a half an hour earlier? I'm like, yes, absolutely.
Free haircut?
Free haircut.
Or I don't know if it was free.
Yeah, it's free.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Raisa.
Free haircut.
Yeah.
Can't say no to that.
No, you can't. And it took me like less, like this time because of the haircut, when I brushed my hair, it took me, an hour and a half, not 2 hours and a half. So.
Yeah, sweet. What do you usually record in your booth? Just going back to the booth talk.
Well, my music, I record in the booth a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Music for other people that I'm recording to send to them, because I compose for films as well, and for pitches and stuff. And then for my voiceover gigs, we just went back into the booth November for looping. And I think I'm going back in the booth on another project I work on in December. Is it December yet? I can't remember. But
it's like the last day of November today.
Okay,
so
happy last day of November.
December. It's practically Christmas.
Practically Christmas. I mean,
it's basically,
it was practically Christmas before Thanksgiving. I mean, in America, it skips right. It goes from Halloween, you turn the corner, and it's Christmas. It's kind of hilarious.
Yep.
It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, it's like the stores be like, have you seen that video where it's like the stores at like 11:59 p.m. after Halloween and then like 12 a.m. December. Wait, whatever the day after Halloween is. It's like turns into Christmas all over.
That is accurate.
Like just Christmas songs all over the place.
That is accurate. Yeah, and then booth. Yes, yeah. So basically, whatever I'm not doing in the studio, I record from home. I recorded all the demos for Big Shot in the booth. Here in my booth.
Do you have any of your personal favorites? Like, I'm sure you love all of them, but like, do you like sing? Like, is there a particular like activity that you like the most
out of all the
other?
I would say no. I think it's all storytelling to me, and I like telling stories. That's probably if I had to encapsulate it in one phrase, it's I like to tell stories. And it's just kind of whatever form that takes that day. And I think that's probably what's exciting about it for me too, is it's different from day to day. Some days I'm doing, I'm doing weird voices. Some days I'm doing weird characters on stage. Some days I'm writing music for a TV show and then also recording that music for that TV show. So I have a variety of activities that keep me
Hell
entertained.
yeah. I mean, I was just purely curious. There wasn't a right answer for that, obviously.
Got it
that
wrong.
is the right answer.
Oh, yeah.
You got it.
What did I win? Do I get a prize? I won a toy.
What do I get to win, Mom? It's, like, I completely get you because it's like, as a musician, I can totally, like, resonate with that. In that, like, I don't think, like, I see people who are out there, they're like, oh, I can make music 24/7 for my entire life. And I'm like, dude, that is awesome, but I would go crazy if I had to do that.
I think,
like, yeah.
Sorry, no, continue.
No, I was just gonna, like, I have a very short attention span.
Right.
Like, thankfully it's not like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It depends on the project. When I'm in the flow, I can go on for hours, but it can never be like one thing for a prolonged period of time, for days, for months on end. So it's like, it's great that I have to record music, but I also have to be writing my own music, producing my music, also shoot videos for that music, go out for meetings, do this podcast, edit. I got all these things on my plate, and sometimes it's a bit overwhelming, but it without them, I would go crazy as well.
I think also for me, like, everything feeds into each other. Like, I mean, I guess the weirdest example is most recently I binged all of the X-Files for the first time. And then as I was finishing that, I was listening to Jeff Daniels because he released another album in 2020. And I was listening to him at the same time that I was, like, kind of winding down on my binge. And then I ended up writing a blues song called The Truth Is Out There because I was doing those two things at once. Like, I very often, like, okay, let's go back to languages. Like, one of my favorite things about learning languages is the untranslatable words that just don't have any equivalent in English or in another language. So I very often will write songs around those untranslatable words, or not even necessarily untranslatable, but if there's wordplay to be had in two different languages, like for instance in Gaeilge in Irish, the word mor means big, but it also sounds like more in English.
Right.
So I wrote a song, with that called Mor. It's amor, more than you will ever see. I'm more, 'cause there's so much more inside of me. All the cuts from which I bleed, all the scars which I've received, I finally see they're just the outline of me. So, like, I like playing with, like, everything that I learn or study or binge or play with ends up feeding into my writing or performance or, you know, anything. So I don't really subscribe to that you have to do one thing or I want to do one thing, because to me they all feed into each other. The more experiences you have, the more varied you are as a writer and as a performer.
Do you find yourself making excuses sometimes though? Like, oh, I just watched 5 hours of YouTube watching someone eat cheese. But it's part of my artistry. I can,
Right.
It's about my...
Right. No, I don't think I think the only time I made excuses like that was when I would go to my guitar classes or piano classes, and they'd be like, did you practice? And I'd be like, I did, but then I messed it up and I wrote a song instead. You want to hear it? Like, that was my frequent excuse, which is true. I tried to learn to play the theme song for Doctor Who on the ukulele, and I messed it up, and I liked it, so I wrote a song called Can't Be Blue based on the storylines of Doctor Who. So that's just kind of how I roll. But I think I do always have my eye on the prize as far as, like, if I get a deadline for something, I'm like, okay, I'll got it. I know what I have to work on now.
Dude, that's amazing. Yeah. That is amazing. Like, because, damn, it's so hard for artists to have that. It's so hard. I mean, I'm not speaking for all artists, but at least for myself, it's been really difficult. Because we are, like, in a way, freelancers, and we are in charge of our own schedules. We are in charge of however projects that we take on. So I find it really difficult sometimes to, like, get myself disciplined to finish things on time.
Right.
But I guess if you're, like, part of a bigger production, working with other people, then you hold more accountability to get some work done because other people are expecting you to get it done.
I think that's also kind of how my brain works in general. Like, I mean, I've been working in Hollywood since I was 9 months old. So I've been in it long enough that when I walk on a set, I'm not sure if this is going to sound good or bad. I'm less concerned about what I'm doing and more interested in what everyone else is doing. So I think because of, like, I think there's some people or some artists that are kind of caught up in their own work, and so all they see is from their own perspective. But I've gotten to a place where I'm comfortable enough in my ability and in my knowledge of what I'm doing that I can kind of disregard what I'm doing and going, okay, what's that lighting thing over there? Why are you... Am I moving too much? You need me to do this again so you can see the lighting? And then, I kind of have a producer director brain in that way. I'm the person standing at, in Video Village behind the director watching, just going, oh, cool. Okay.
You're the director and the actor.
Well, I won't say that because then directors would dislike me. No, I'm not, like, I don't backseat direct or anything, but I'm definitely, like, that's definitely where I'm going. And I'm definitely, watching. But because of that, I think it, encourages more empathy for what everyone else is doing, because you're very aware of, this person is doing this over here and that person's stressed because that person is not finished yet and they can't do their job until that person's finished. And then over here, they have a deadline and they're not going to get the 8-hour turnaround. So it's like, you're not so much in your own path or your own headspace. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think empathy is definitely, it's definitely an important factor that doesn't get acknowledged enough in the whole scene of artistry. Because it's like the impression that art kind of has on us artists, but also like the general public, is that, like, we do whatever the fuck we want. We express ourselves. I don't give a shit about, like, this is art. I do whatever I want. But also, we have an audience. Yeah. We have someone, like, without the audience, I'd like to think that, especially as a songwriter, as a song maker, as an artist, as a musician.
That's a good turn of phrase.
My work is not complete without the listeners.
Absolutely.
So while I also like, I always try to write stuff that resonates with me the most. And I don't like write for someone. Like I don't write it for the cloud, quote unquote. Right. But I always do try to keep in mind that there are going to be people listening to this, and I hope that it does them some good.
Yeah.
I hope it, you know, brings some solace or some smiles or whatever to these people. But I think the balance is always the hardest thing, because it's like, oh, I want to do this stupid thing, but what if people don't like it, kind of thing.
I think, well, my favorite phrase that my mom always said was that it's show business. Like, it's art and it's fun, but people are making money. People have jobs. It's a business. So you can be the most talented person in the world, but if you're a jerk, it's gonna wear thin eventually. But back to the writing for other people thing, I think comedy is a great a great sobering effect then, I guess, because you know, a piece of art can be, you know, artsy, and it is what it is. But comedy, if it's not funny, it's bad. There is no in between. Like, something can be not someone's style. That's possible. But if literally no one thinks it's funny, then it's not comedy anymore. There's just no in between. And so especially doing like live comedy, you can have like your most favorite joke in the world or your most favorite song in the world. But if no one laughs, then you cut it, because that's it. Like, what's the point? Which does make it hard though when it's musical comedy, because sometimes I can't tell. There was like this one song that was of mine, not my cabaret stuff, of my musical stand-up, that was like borderline patter throughout, and I was never getting any laughs on it, and I did it a couple times before kind of trying to change it, just to see, was it the audience that night? Was it a bad energy? Did I not have enough energy? Let's just kind of give it a go. And I kept going, it's just not working. It's not working. And the people who always come to my shows, my parents and my friend Ambrit, they were the ones to inform me that it was actually working, but it was just going by so fast that they didn't have time to laugh. They were just listening. They didn't want to miss it, so they were just listening. And I was like, that's not helpful to me. Like, I don't know what to do with that. So that makes it hard. But when it's just like stand-up comedy where you're just, you know, punchline joke or storytelling, it's pretty easy to tell if something works or not. You know?
I was just... So, like, the one you just mentioned that, like, you know, you tried it a couple times, but it still wasn't working, but turns out the reason was because you were going too fast on it. Was that a comedy piece?
It was, yeah. Yeah, that was one of my stand-up comedy pieces. Yeah, it's called overtexting. So it, you know, there's a lot of junk that gets, you know, thrown out during the song. And, you know, that's definitely one of those songs that I still want to keep, you know, working on as when the clubs reopen and stuff, and see, like, especially like when you're doing, like, let's say a 10, 25-minute set, if every single one of your songs is getting burst out laughter, I feel like you've earned the ability to take a step back. Like, I have a couple songs that are clearly comedy until they aren't anymore. And then I like to shift it, you know, into something realer underneath. So it's like when you earn that laugh, you can then change it as long as you're doing it on purpose. And so it's just trying to see, is this song still entertaining and it's just going by too fast that nobody wants to laugh, or is it just not a comedy song? And then it's like, all right, well, let's see, like, how can I rewrite this to make this, you know, get more laughs, or maybe not get more laughs because it's you know, too continuous, but still make it more funny. Where's that, you know, line? You have to, comedy is like one of the only things that you cannot show to an audience when it's ready, because you're not going to know until you show it to an audience.
Yeah.
So you really just have to get it up on its feet, and you can see the best comedian in the world, and you're going to see them on one day and you're going to go, they're not very funny. It's because they're trying new material. And they're waiting for you to you to tell them what's funny. Because you can like something, but you can't really know until you're on, you know, in front of people.
excuse me if I sound ignorant. I know nothing about comedy, and I don't think I can handle the anxiety that would go behind.
Yeah.
I just don't think I can handle it.
I didn't think I could either.
So props
Thank you.
for you and all the comedians out there who can just pull it off. It's just so admirable.
Thank you.
But how is it like with materials, with written out materials?
Yes.
Do you like, how long do you keep it? Do you like, how long do you use it until you decide it's a time for you to like move on to a new material?
That's a really good question, and a question I don't really have the answer to. And I think that's a question that the answer is changing with the advent of technology and social media as part of a comedian's publicity. You know, I think that there is probably many comedians who would have, you know, one routine or like a handful of routines that they would use over and over and over again, because, you know, if you're doing vaudeville, they're going to see it when they come to see you live. And then maybe, okay, you get on the Johnny Carson show. Okay, you use that material, maybe toss that out and do some new stuff, because now the people coming to see you because they saw you on the Johnny Carson show already know those jokes. But that's, you know, that's one of the things that one of the reasons I don't really put my musical comedy online is I don't want to spoil it for the people who come to see me live, or for, you know, knock on wood, my Netflix special or something. And then the other reason is that I'm a very blue comedian, so I try to keep that off the socials as much as possible.
What does blue comedian mean?
Yeah, a blue comedian is someone who's foul comedy. So,
foul.
Yeah, so bad words, tawdry subject matter. You know, basically the things that you're not going to see on The Tonight Show. If it's not, if you couldn't see it on TV, and I'm not talking about HBO, if you couldn't see it like on live TV, then that's blue comedy. Yeah, I actually don't know where that comes from.
I mean,
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't. So like, what is the definition of foul? Like, because I've seen, like, I don't know if this was national television actually, because so it might not have been blue comedy, but it was like a guy talking about ass. So if that's not blue comedy, then I don't know what is.
Like, I have to say things in my head first before I say it out loud. Otherwise, this entire interview is going to go blue. I think, again, that is also something that I think changes with the times and changes with the audience. You know, it all gets very philosophical. I think things that are considered normal today would probably be considered blue for the 50s. You know?
Yeah.
But there's some things that are always true. Like I wrote, my voiceover warm-up is George Carlin's list of words you can't say on TV. That's my voiceover warm-up, which I then turned into a comedy song, because it is, in fact, my voiceover warm-up. And that is just a list of words that you literally can't say on TV. And to this day, I think those words still hold up. I think, for the most part, all of those words are still going to be, you can't say that. I think... I mean, I feel like maybe blue comedy is something that you like.
It's something that you feel. Like, you just kind of have to, like, feel it for yourself and decide if it's blue or not.
Like, if it makes people go, oh, it's probably blue.
You just gotta let the devil speak on behalf of you.
Hey,
like,
the devil couldn't deal with me.
You just gotta let the devil speak.
The devil couldn't deal with me.
Let it take it over.
I'm just going to start quoting my own songs, and no one else will be able to tell except for me. So I'll be listening. The future version of me is going to listen to this podcast going, ha, nice.
It's like, I think it's so bold of you, actually, to like do blue comedy, because I don't know how I come across to other people, but I am so on edge about like being canceled. I'm so scared. Right. I am terrified. I am terrified that I'll say something wrong. I'll say something that offends someone of a community or like a certain group of people. I'm so terrified. Like, if I say the wrong word, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get canceled. My career is over. It's like, I've never really actually talked about this. I never really opened up about this to anybody, but So you remember Black Lives Matter, obviously, but I did like a little mini episode covering racism, like during the peak of Black Lives Matter movement. And it was like one of the comments to the video, like the majority of it was like just positive stuff, like thanks for speaking up about this. But some of the comments were like, don't say anything political if you don't know enough about it, kind of thing. And it was like, this was like the beginning of my musical career, like when things just started to like kind of pop a little bit. So I was like, I remember being terrified that, damn, I just did this just out of like, I just wanted to talk, I just speak up about it and have some sort of an input. But what if this like ruins my career or something? Like, turns out I was just overthinking. Haha. But you know, do you ever feel like that? Like, you know, whatever you say, it might turn into something that could stab you in the back or something?
I don't think so. I think my comedy, okay, so I will give an example of what I mean about my comedy. Oh boy, this is the first time I'm doing this on the interwebs. All right, so I have a song called Dandelion. And I would start the set, I would say, you know what? No, I'll just talk about the song. I'm writing a song. I really realized that I like working with children, and so I wanted to write a children's album. And so, you know, my first single from it is called Dandelion. So it's, you know, it's a song about self-love and acceptance. And I think it's really important, you know, for the children. So I'll sing a little bit of it. So it's, I'm a dandelion, but I need a helping hand. Just a little gust of wind to get me to a distant land. And I will go and I will see what it means to truly be free. It's true, I'll go, you'll see. And all I need is for you to blow me. So on and so forth.
Yeah.
So it's clearly foul, but it's not coming from... There it is. There it is.
Wait. Oh my God. I just got it.
So it's foul, but it's not coming from a mean place. You know, I think comedians, are always the first ones to get canceled and called out because they're pushing the boundaries. But there's, I think, the average audience member... Sorry. I apologize. I think the average...
No, don't be sorry.
Gets worse from there.
Own it.
Perfect. I think the average audience member can tell where a comedian's heart is, I think. You know, there are some comedians who are famous for just being horrible people on stage. But that's not who they are in real life. And maybe that character is, you know, a comment on that. And, you know, I think also not every comedian or not every performer, like, I'm not making any big, ginormous political statements with that song. It's just a song about sex, really. That's all it is, in the form of a children's song, because, you know, she's very clueless. But
the thing is, like, children won't get it. It's like SpongeBob.
Yes.
Like, it's like, not SpongeBob, but like, you know, like how in Disney movies, people, like, the makers of Disney, like some of the animation, they put like little inside jokes, like, you know, the Little Mermaid castles look like penis and stuff. Well, it's like,
yeah, I mean, but two things. So like that's one of the reasons why I don't put it online. It's because I do know I have a lot of littler fans who know me from like Sofia the First and Legend of Korra and Spirit Riding Free. And I don't want them to accidentally happen upon the dirty comedy. Right. You know, the people in the clubs that are for 21 and up, you're fine. Yep. And the one time we had a child in the audience sitting front row, and we were all like, what? And they were like, it's his birthday. I already talked to the parents. They're cool. I'm like, okay, fine, here we go. And they were cool. They were fine.
You're in for a ride.
Here we are. You know, so yeah, but I think with again, going back to social media, I think there's this like feeling that you have to share and express every single feeling and thought on every single subject. And I think I'm much more of the mindset of, I think the people who watch me know what I believe by the art that I make. And other than that, I'm just going to sit down and listen. Like, at this point, I'm a performer. That's all I am. So my opinion on most matters doesn't really matter. I'm just going to listen to the people who know what they're talking about. That's kind of my approach so far.
And there are plenty of people who don't know what they're talking about too. So I guess your job is to kind of filter out the right ones. I mean, not the right ones, but filter out the stuff that's
only
not
the right
really gonna do you good.
No,
Yeah.
I know what you mean. The correct point of view. Yeah, I think have you ever watched Newsroom? Do you know that show at all?
No, I haven't.
It was a show created by Aaron Sorkin, and it was about a newsroom. And I remember, I grew up in the age of slanted media, and to quote another one of my songs, if you use this product, then your life will be at stake. We'll tell you all about it after the commercial break. That kind of news. But I was watching it, so I watched the Newsroom. And I remember I was reading this magazine, and it said about, like, why milk was bad for you. And one of the things they said was that milk had harmful pesticides in it. And it was a vegan magazine, I should probably mention.
Right.
And I started screaming at the magazine, saying, pesticides in the milk is not why milk is bad for you. People are putting pesticides in the milk. You're critiquing a product, not the ingredient. And they were slanting, the facts to fit their agenda. And it pissed me off. And I had never noticed those things like that before until I had watched the Newsroom. And it kind of like put into perspective of, truth, regardless of the point of view of the person giving the news. And so I think you have to be a dedicated consumer, I guess, to make sure that the news that you're getting is actually news. When they have the banner that says breaking news for 5 hours straight, it's probably not breaking news anymore. Like, okay, and kind of have to look past the clickbait and make sure that what you're getting is actually true and not slanted to be even on both sides, but just the truth, whatever that is, regardless of, we have to make it fair. No, just true. Just what's the truth?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you have to have access to all these information in order for you to figure out which one's beneficial for you and not beneficial for you. And I guess it's all of these things. It depends on the matter at hand, but it's all pretty objective stuff. Like, there really is no like right way to go about things. But I think it's kind of one of those things where it's inevitable that you're gonna get some pseudoscience shit at some point on the internet, but you gotta take some time off away from all that to just figure out, like, just actually sit down and be like, okay, what was that? Like, am I just gonna sit back and just believe what it says as it is, or is this actually bullshit?
Yeah.
And most of the time it's like, unless it's like, I think the reason why people believe in these like bro science and like these like bullshit science and like just weird
conspiracy theories
is that like they just spend too much time on the internet. It's like, it's almost like they're brainwashing themselves.
Yeah. No, you completely hit the nail on the head. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've said the phrase, well, did you change the channel? No.
Yeah.
Okay, well then.
Did you go out for a walk?
Right.
And actually like spend some time like outside?
Did you check your sources? Did you look up and see what other news platforms are reporting this? No. The truth is out there, but it ain't always true. Again, back to that song that I wrote about, inspired by X-Files. People, I mean, it just seems like we're in an age that people pick the facts that they want to hear, where it's like, that's not how it works. Like, in most situations, there is one truth. That's not always the case. You know, things get complicated, but in a lot of things, talking about science and stuff, there is one truth, and that might change as people get more scientific information, but there is one truth, and because it doesn't sit well with your opinions of the world or your ideology or what you want to be true, you can just disregard it and choose something else. And if we can't even agree on facts, like, it's like the bare minimum.
Yeah, like, oh God, the Earth is square.
Yeah, we have what was the phrase? We have the Flat Earther Society. We have millions of participants around the globe. Okay.
Google Maps, you gotta make a flat version for us Earth is flat believers. Google Maps, you gotta appreciate our opinions.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. Why? Because I don't like it. I don't know.
You just don't like it?
No, I think I'm gonna. No, I'm good.
I mean, shoot, like even Zoom has like
you're
fine. Yeah, even Zoom has like Photoshop already applied to your video. Like, I just learned that.
Wait, what?
Yes, I just learned that today. I was looking at settings, and it was like pretty. What was the phrase it said? It was like smooth it out or something like that. And I'm like, well, I guess thank you for the option, I guess, but like, what? Why are you
No wonder
assuming?
why I felt like shit looking into the mirror after a Zoom session.
There you go.
No wonder.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Neither did I. I just clicked the box off. I was like, no, I'm good. It's weird.
So
But that's the thing, because it's unrealistic. Like, it's unrealistic. It doesn't look real. Like, you shouldn't feel weird looking into a mirror, because like I've seen you in many, many different videos and here. Like, you're gorgeous. Like, it doesn't we don't need to do that added Facetune filter stuff. It's weird. It's weird. Everyone starts to look alike.
Yeah, it's weird, but goddamn, do we want to look prettier? We do want to look prettier. Not gonna lie, I do want to look prettier. I want that airbrush. I ain't gonna say no to that airbrush. Well,
sure. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's just not even knowing that it was there, that it's an auto check.
Yeah,
is weird. You know,
it's like, just don't have like. Just accept the fact that we all want airbrush. Accept the fact that everybody uses airbrush on the internet, and don't have unrealistic expectations when you look into the mirror in real life.
Yeah, scrolling
Period.
and going, they don't look like any of these people. Well, neither do they. That's like 5 hours of hair and makeup. Their lashes aren't real. Like,
they attach the lashes, like, literally, like, it's just Photoshop brush.
Really?
They literally drew the lashes. And I know that because I've done that myself. Goddamn, I just exposed myself.
I mean, hey, I like that better than putting those freaking gluey things on your eyes. I remember I had to do that for a part,
and
and
it
it was
bum
like
to actually get it out.
Yeah.
Like, you get glue in your eye, and it's like it blurs if you're wearing contacts, it like gets all over your contacts. You got little dots on your contacts.
Takes you like 20
It's a
seconds to
nightmare.
blink.
I hate makeup. I hate it so much.
That's why I hate to say there's an upside to a pandemic, but that's one of the unintended upsides of having to stay in the house is I think I've stopped caring. Like, I'm just kind of like,
Nobody
hey,
cares.
Here I am. Nice to see you. Like, I'm come as you are, because this is as much effort as I'm putting into this meeting. Like it just, there's something kind of freeing about that. So it's like, if I put on makeup, it's like, I want to play. And it's more about expression than it is about, I have to be presentable. You know?
I mean, it's like own both sides of yourself. Own the glamorous side of yourself, but also own the natural side of yourself.
Yes.
Both are presentable as fuck.
Yes.
It's great.
Yes, I love that.
I also want to I think it's actually really great, just going back to your blue comedy stuff, that you actually decide not to put up as many of these of your sketches online, because it's kind of like you're kind of staying true to your beliefs in that we need to keep some parts of our lives real. We don't need to document every single thing of our lives as musicians, as an artist, as a self-expressionist, whatever it's called, and document it and upload it everywhere. And I think it kind of sometimes can humble you, and also it just enjoy for the sake of enjoying
Absolutely.
it, rather than I gotta document this, I gotta film this and put it up somewhere.
Well, I think I definitely take photos and stuff, but it's more for my scrapbook. I think when I was younger and new to social media and kind of realizing that social media was a part of the business and I had to do it, I was kind of posting everything, because I didn't really know what worked, what didn't. But then as I got older, I think the rule for myself that I kind of asked the question was, would this be interesting to someone else who's not me? Is this going to be interesting to someone who doesn't know me? If not, then I don't post it. What's the point? I'm just doing it for my own edification, but that's not for me. Social media is a tool. It's part of the business. It's a way to make people laugh. I like sharing some of the clean comedy stuff, but it's not my personal scrapbook. And I found that through the years, the really special moments in my life have been when my phone is in my purse in the corner of the room, and maybe I take it out to take a group photo, and then I put that phone back in, and I'm I don't even want to get a text right now. No, I'm out. This is I'm done. This is my time. And then every once in a while, if there's something that's special, but it's performance related, like when I did hair the first time, that goes on the gram, but it goes on later when I know that I can post about it and it's not under wraps, when I'm not in the middle of learning music. It's when I'm done and it has a purpose, then it goes up. Otherwise, I'm good.
Yeah. No, hell yeah. It's go to a concert, see your favorite artist. Don't look. You've come all this way to see your favorite artist perform, not through your screen, your fucking phone screen, but in real life, face to face. So you can watch. You can shoot a 3-second video, whatever. That's fine, just for the sake of your memory,
just to
whatever.
Have it.
Looking back.
Yeah.
The rest of it, look into the face. You'll see plenty of the pixelated faces on YouTube. You're good. There are tens of thousands of other people who have shot the same exact thing.
Yeah. I remember probably one of my favorite concerts was when I went to see Jethro Tull with my mom. It was the first time I saw them live, and they were literally the only reason I learned flute was for Jethro Tull. So getting to be in that audience with the person who introduced it to me was very special. Yeah. You
got to be in that moment. Don't look. I'm assuming you wasn't holding a smartphone literally right up your.
No, and I'm also very theater old school. So there was 1 or 2 shows where they literally told us you can take some photos in intermission. I'm oh, okay, great. And then we'll take a little thing.
Right, yeah.
But for the most part, if I'm in a theater, my phone goes off and it's in or just on Do Not Disturb, and it's in the bag, and I don't touch it because I'm I wanna watch you. I came to see you. Yeah. That's I mean, it's fun fodder for me as a comedian when I see someone's phone out, but other than that, I like just being
not gonna lie, it's good PR as a musician.
Sure.
It's
I mean, yeah, and there's a balance to everything,
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite moments actually involving that was I was doing a show at a coffee house, so I don't expect anybody's attention. I'm there playing, you're having your coffee and writing your screenplay because it's LA. We know what's going on. It's cool. And then I remember there was this guy who had already been sitting there when I started playing, and about maybe the second song in, he closed his laptop, took out his phone, recorded for like 30 seconds, put his phone down, and then just watched for the rest of the hour.
Oh.
And that was really special because I'm like, you don't owe me anything. I just started singing at your face. Like this, you didn't come to see me. You were already here. So that was very lovely to see that I had, engrossed someone enough.
It's a compliment.
Yeah.
It's a compliment.
Yeah.
One of the best compliments to be able to get as an artist.
Absolutely.
So, okay, disclaimer, as us, both artists, musicians, if you ever come to see us live, please do take your phone out. But don't take that video for longer than 30 seconds. Or maybe a minute. A minute's okay,
I
too.
approve this
Just for
message.
the right moments.
Yeah.
But put it down and just see us be in the moment.
I am clearly a camera hog. If you pull out the video, I will stop the song and smile and pose for you. I have done that in my comedy shows. Like I will do that. I will play. But yeah, I do like being able to see people's eyes and, see how they're actually perceiving it.
Yeah. I love life, but even after all this stuff, all the shit that we said about the internet, I love the internet too. I love it. I love it and hate it at the same time.
I guess it's like anything else. It's user-centric, It depends on who's behind.
You gotta control your usage.
Yeah.
You gotta. It's like food. Like you have to have food, but if you have too much food, you're gonna get that flab.
Yeah. It's a good point. Yeah, I mean, the internet can be used as information is so accessible, so much more accessible than it ever was before, where you would have to wait for the newspaper or the 6 o'clock news, or before then, when if something happens across the sea, it's like, what happened? I didn't hear about it. What's across the sea? Like, we have access to, like, we're talking right now. We're on 2 different continents and we're talking. Like, the internet is an incredible place. But it does, depend on who's using it and how it's being used. Yeah.
Yeah. Use the tool
yeah.
right.
It's a tool. Yeah, exactly.
Darcy Rose, this was a fun conversation. I feel like we didn't get to cover like half of the stuff I actually wanted to talk about.
Well, actually, then before we go, can I ask you a question? Because I forgot to ask it until just now.
Yes, please do.
So
please
most of the music that I saw of yours was in English. So I have 2 questions. One, do you also write in Korean? And 2, if you do, how does the process differ for you between writing in those 2 languages?
So 1, I do actually write in Korean. There's one song that's been publicly released in Korean. That's only one song, and it's actually not very widely known. But it's entirely in Korean, which is my technically first language. And to answer the second question, if it's any different from writing songs in English, for sure, it's different. And but it's hard to like actually pinpoint what exactly the difference is. I think it's really, for the lack of a better way of expressing it, like I think it's a cultural thing. It's it's like you earlier you said that like untranslatable words. Right. Like there are phrases in Korean that are they just don't exist in English language. Like we have this phrase called 엉금, which is like or 깡총, which is like the expression of I can't even explain it. It's like a hop, it describes the motion of a hop. It's not a hop. Oh. It describes the motion of it.
Okay.
So you can hop in a 깡총 way. Gosh. But you can hop in a 엉금 way too, which is like a more slothy, like slow, like slow-mo kind of thing. I think that's really fun. Like just, it's kind of like dipping into different like sauces. Yeah. So I'm actually currently experimenting with like using both Korean and English in one song.
Oh, that's cool.
And hopefully other languages too. But I think it's just really fun, like how writing in a different language is like working with a different tool, like working with a different like puzzle pieces, you know?
Well, it's interesting because like with rhymes in general, like there's something that is poetry for me, it's something that's poetry in Irish. It's not really poetry in English because of the sounds, because it rhymes. So I think that's why I like learning languages. It's like I think there's every single different language has a different perspective on the world, and the more you learn, the more like you see a part of existence that maybe you weren't primed to see. So it's
that's
exciting.
the whole cultural aspect of it. It's like it's not just the kind of logistical, technical aspects of songwriting in different languages, but it's actually the nuance of the lyrics, the nuance of the storytelling, and how you tell it. It's so different that you can't really like put words into it. But it's real fun.
It really is.
Maybe we can do a duet in the future. Yours in Irish, and mine in Korean, and we can like, I don't know, get a Japanese singer on it too. Like we get some Japanese on there. It's gonna be fun.
We'll sing "We Are the World" in all the different languages.
Yeah, we'll have like 85 singers in one track, and like it's in 85 languages.
Yes.
The song.
Yes, rhyme between all the languages. Have like no single language does one couplet. Everything rhymes with each other.
Each singer sings one word.
I love it.
It's
gonna be a grammar nightmare, but let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. I don't know how it's gonna be done, but I'm sure it'll. Lil Dicky had like 30 something on his track. Gosh. We can do it. There's
linguists out there going word order. So
let's do it.
I'm in.
We're gonna do it. It's been fun, Darcy Rose. So happy to have you. Thank you for coming, and you're always welcome back. Let's have another conversation next time.
Absolutely. I'm in.